What Stephanie and I are going to talk about today are legal structures that you would put around a social enterprise. You may wonder, why is that important? And I'm going to tell you a story to start with that might, really a hypothetical, it's based on a real story that might illustrate that for you. So let's just say you're one of these really smart William & Mary MBA students. So you come out of the College of William & Mary and you have this fantastic idea for cell phone covers. You're going to create the world's first indestructible cell phone, smartphone cover. Most of them claim that they're not. I can tell you that from personal experience. So you have other smart MBA friends who are experts in supply chain and in manufacturing, and in no time at all, less than a year's time, you have created a multi-million-dollar company. But there's a difference. You don't just make money. You also support social impact ventures. And what you're doing is with 50% of your profits are actually going to third world countries to support the implementation of cell towers in those countries where they don't have adequate communication systems. You're getting international media coverage for this fantastic idea you have. Then you go public. You've had so much money thrown at you and investors, you say, look, we can take this company public and become a billion-dollar corporation with these investors who think we've got the greatest technology, the greatest manufacturing idea known to man. So you go public, you now are a billion-dollar company led by a couple of MBA students from William & Mary. You're on Forbes magazine's cover, all this great success you've earned. And you're also giving away half your profits to these third world countries. Well, then you have a shareholder meeting. And you're announcing your latest ventures in the world. You're global. You've got a distribution chain now covering the entire country. You've implemented over $100 million worth of cell phone or cellular technology around the world. But a group of shareholders stands up, and these are some pretty deep pockets in your company. They actually own over half of the stock of the company. And they say to you, you know what? You guys have done a great job in leading this company. We love this idea you have of giving away all the money to help these third world countries. But you know what? We're not going to do that anymore. And you go, well, hold on. No, the whole reason we set this company up was so that we could make money, but then also do good at the same time. And the shareholders say to you, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. And they're right. You don't have to, they can require not to do that anymore. That's the problem when you don't have an adequate legal structure to protect your social entrepreneurship model. And what I just gave you was a hypothetical story, but it's actually based on a real story of a company and several companies who had gone down that exact same path and thought they had the greatest social impact business model known to man, and then it was taken away from them because they did not have adequate legal protection for that social enterprise. So let me do a couple more things to talk about these legal structures, and I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie from B-Lab, who's going to give you some particulars of how you can protect yourself from the story I just told. So who am I? So I'm Rodney Willet. I work for a company called Impact Makers. I would normally get to stand up here with my colleague Michael Perron, who was going to join us today but was not able to be with us. Normally when Michael's here, I have to let him take credit for this incredible idea for this company called Impact Makers, our social impact business model, and this great idea he came up with. Since he's not here, I will take complete credit for everything that Impact Makers has done until this gets back to him, then I'll have to stop doing that. So what is Impact Makers? This is the boring part. Impact Makers does management and technology consulting. That's the boring part. The cool part is we are structured as a for-profit company without ownership, and then we give away our profits to local healthcare charities in the Richmond area. I'll walk through that one more time. So we are for-profit. That means I do make a salary. I make a market-based salary. I'm not doing this for free. We have no ownership. That means there are no investors. There is no equity interest. I'm listed as a principal. I have no ownership interest in Impact Makers. Thirdly, we give away our profits. We actually do make money because we're charging market-based rates for our consulting services, but we turn around and give that money to local healthcare-related charities in Richmond. We have an oversight board. Makes us look a little bit more like a nonprofit. They actually determine to whom we give those profits and set the policy for the company. So it's a very unique business model. Michael, in setting this thing up back in 2006, went through all sorts of gyrations and legal challenges to come up with this model. If you think about it, it's a non-stock corporation without owners. You give away your profits. It was a very difficult legal undertaking. Fast forward to 2010, now actually 2011, Virginia and other states have adopted a legal structure called benefit corporations that actually would have enabled us to do the same thing by making a simple filing with the Corporation Commission in Richmond. And with that, I'm going to let Stephanie from B-Lab talk to you about what their entity is doing in terms of certifying companies and also helping to promote this legislation nationally. But the good news is, unlike what we had to go through over multiple years to set up a legal structure for these protections, today companies in Virginia have a readily available option. And you'll see this in other states too. Stephanie will talk about that, and then I'll come back up to give you a few more words on why companies might want to think about this protection. So with that, Stephanie?